Hey everyone, this is Corinne Lafont, your favorite radio host, your only radio host, and favorite girl, of course, broadcasting to you from the lovely island of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean on Between the Lines. And you know how I always start my show off being grateful or thankful. There is a distinct difference, I always say, but I like to use thankful. And it's a beautiful day here in Trinidad and Tobago. It's raining, it's the rainy season, the hurricane season, and it's raining. And I should have had my umbrella ready for the rainy season, but I don't. So clearly, tomorrow I will have to deal with that because it's going to be raining and I don't want to get caught wet. Yeah, and I'll have to change my shoes. That's the one thing we do in the Caribbean. You know, unlike the other countries that may have different seasons, you know, spring, summer, autumn, winter, and they need to change for all that. We too also have to change for the rainy season. You know, change probably a bit of the clothes, get something warmer. Make sure you have more than one umbrella, yes, and change your shoes because getting your feet wet means that you may end up getting the flu, the cold, and that's not nice. So we need to also prepare, yeah? So I am still thankful for that. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying get prepared, okay? So I have with me a handsome man. I think over the last 5 years since he was on my show, he has got more handsome, more distinguished. He says now he has a little bit more gray. Anybody with gray hair, a man with gray hair, I call them distinguished. They just look so refined. Yes? And he was on my show when I started off on the Blog Talk Radio. That's when I started years ago. He came on in 2014. He was an author then. Simply an author, not to make it sound small, but he was an author. And now, I mean, off air, he was sharing with me, it was my idea who encouraged him to become a publisher. He moved from being an author to now publishing other people. He's in my industry, giving me competition and telling me that I must be careful the advice I give to people. What about that? James Hill, he's been doing great. I'm happy for him. I'm happy to hear that he has grown and he continues to grow. He's still writing. He didn't drop his books. He's still writing, but he's helping others to get their work out there. So let me tell you a bit about James, and we're going to go straight into talking about from author to publisher, pitfalls and promises. What are the promises he's making now as a publisher to his clients? Yeah, and what he has learned along the process from being an author to a publisher. It's a different kettle of fish when you make that transition. So we want to learn from James what has been going on, what he has learned about himself, about the industry, about helping others. Yeah, and to make him a better person. So let me tell you a bit about James quickly. James L. Hill created Rock Hill Publishing, and you will see his logo behind him with the dragon, limited liability company, to publish his own work and give others access to the literary world. He is a multi-genre author. I know this about James. A prolific storyteller now working on a 4-part killer series about gangsters and mobsters in New York. Wait a minute. That reminds me, wasn't I supposed to walk the red carpet with James some time ago? We'll talk about that.
It's still coming. It's still coming.
Books 1 and 2 has received 5-star reviews. The 3-part historical fantasy gemstone series covers men, mermaids, and dragons, hence sci-fi as well. I'm going to jump right in and welcome James to Between the Lines again. It was Between the Lines on the Blog Talk Radio in 2014, and I still maintain the name Between the Lines because it is a brand. James, welcome again to my show.
Thank you, Corinne. Good to be back. Yes, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yes, it's been a while, and you're doing well. And the first thing is, why am I not on the red carpet yet, James? Why am I not? I had my dress ready, my speech ready. You know, I was ready.
I'm still pushing it. We're still working on movie deals. We're still working it.
I had my part ready, even if it's a one-liner. I'm just so ready, you know. Go up on the stage, the Academy Awards and all that. I was ready. Come on.
Oh, I'm working it. Believe me, it's in the works.
It's in the works.
I actually pitched the book to a couple of people, some in New York, some in LA. And I have a few people now that I'm actually pitching the series books to for the Killer series.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Like I said, you got to keep moving.
Oh, yeah, you got to keep moving. And I have the dress. I'm waiting.
Okay.
I got the dress.
You be on the list. I'll have you on the list. You know, like I said, you gave me good advice. I'm going to repay it.
Yeah. I don't need it to be repaid. I just need to be on the red carpet. That's all. I just need to have a one-liner in the show. That's all. I mean,
There
that's
you
all.
go.
No worry about repayment. I just want to be there to say, hey, that's me. That's me.
Yep. There you go.
So from author to publisher, why did you make that decision?
Because when I first started publishing, I went through one of the publishing companies, and they charge you to publish. And when I actually did it, I realized I can do this myself. I'm a computer background, I have computer programming things in my background. And the industry had changed so much that it's now much easier to actually publish if you have the right knowledge and the right skill sets. So once I realized that these other people weren't really doing anything for you other than the technical work, I realized, hey, I can do that myself. And I first started with my editor. So I made a deal with her that I would publish her books if she edited my books. She was a very good writer too. She's a romance writer named Athena Paris. And she's a very good editor. She was a English teacher in South Africa. So she does a little bit of English teaching in South Africa. And when I met her and everything, and she liked editing. She did like editing. So I was in definitely need of an editor. So I partnered up with her. And then as it went on, I started paying her because we started getting other people interested in other authors. And of course, it's no longer just me and her. Now it's me, her, and 5, 6 other authors. So I started paying her. It's only fair.
Oh, this is good. What I'm noticing, James, is that it's I'm getting your speech well. Everything is coming across in great timing, but you're buffering. I don't know if you're having issues with your internet there that is making you look a little bit slow.
Okay. Well, I think it is my internet or maybe the camera rate. So sometimes the video, I try not to move too much because if I do, then you get that fading and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. But the information is awesome. So don't worry about it. It's coming over nice and clean. Yeah.
Good. Oh, good. That's good.
That's good. Right. So you started helping people, bringing them into the literary world. Do you still find that people are interested in writing, that are interested in becoming an author, or are they just tired of the process, or they don't think that there's potential in the industry?
No, what I find for most authors that come to me, and a lot of authors that I hear from, they have an unrealistic goal of the industry.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I try to help them with. The realism of the business is they come with the idea that, okay, here goes my book, where's my $1 million?
Yeah. Exactly.
And I wish I had it, but it's just not that way. I tell people, first off, I ask them, why do you write? If they told me they wrote a book because they want to make $1 million, then I'm kind of leery about publishing their book.
Yeah.
But
because they have the wrong expectation.
Yeah. I tell them, hey, if you wrote a book to make $1 million, I got a better idea for you. Buy a printing press and print $1 million. Against the law, you probably spend 7 years in prison, but you'll definitely get your $1 million.
For sure.
Yeah. But the realism of it all is there's very few people out there who are actually making the $1 million sales. You know, the rest of us have to fight and claw our way up that mountain.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why my dragon is on the rock. It's not an easy climb to get to the top.
No.
And you got to be real, and you got to be willing to put in the work. You got to be willing to do the promotion. After you write the book, writing the book is the easy part. The selling of the book, that's always hard, and people don't realize that. Authors do not realize, I got to go out there and sell this thing. And it's like, yes, nobody knows who you are. You wrote a book, and 1 million other people wrote a book. So
that's right. And they think that once it's on Amazon, it's suddenly everybody knows that it's there. I mean, I don't know how they would know, but everybody would know that it's there, and suddenly they become rich. They wake up in the morning and they expect cha-ching. Or, I'm like, really? You know, it doesn't
Yeah,
work that.
I like that to happen to me too. You
Me
know?
too. Me too. Yeah. They don't,
Yeah,
some of these authors, they don't even want to go to book signing. They don't want to be seen in public. They don't want to speak to people. I am like, but how do you expect this thing to happen?
yeah. How are you going to get known? No one knows you. I
No.
don't know you. I'm your publisher. I barely know you.
No, you know what I think it is? I think it's because they have friends. You know, people are talking to them every day, but
Yeah,
it's not your audience. Now
yeah,
that you have become an author, it is not the same. Just because your neighbor called you, your cousin called you, your brother says hi, and your sister says hey, it doesn't mean to say that
yeah.
that's your audience.
Yeah, like I said, most people know about 20 people. That's not going to make you rich. You know, you have your family and your friends. You got about 20 people in your immediate circle. And they all say, oh, the book was wonderful. I loved it. I would say 15 of them people did not pay to buy it to read your book either. You know, they expected you to give them the book for free, and you did.
Yeah, yeah,
And they all tell you what a great book it is. But that's not going to make you rich. That's not going to make you known. So
yeah,
it's become the idea of, and this is what I learned after writing and becoming a publisher.
yeah,
It then becomes how do you get your word out there? How do you become known?
yeah,
And you go to the book shows, you go to the signings.
yeah,
I've been doing the Miami Book Fair
yeah.
uh, for the last 4 years, maybe 5 years. And I've been going down there. And the only reason why I go down there because I'm losing money every time I do it,
Yeah.
you know. But my name is out there. People see me. I've been there, like I said, 3, 4, 5 times already. And I have people come back and say, oh, yeah, I did read that book of yours. I liked it, you know, and that kind of thing. I
Yeah.
actually find a lot more authors through the Miami Book Fair than
Yeah.
I find readers.
Yeah.
But the name goes, the name gets out there. People start coming to me, authors coming to me. Other people start saying, hey, I met this guy down in Miami. And I've done some others. I've done the Book Expo.
Yeah.
But all these things are wildly expensive.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the high cost of doing business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's an investment. It's an
yeah,
investment.
but
No,
it's an investment. Yeah.
I want to go back to when you were an author, when you became an author, because you're talking about now that you're dealing with author clients about their expectations. When you started to write, what were your expectations? Were you thinking about $1 million at the
No,
time?
actually not. I write because I like to tell the story. I write because I have the characters in my head. I have these stories running around. I've been writing for years, and I got out of writing because of the fact of it's so hard to get into and to get published. Because before we had just the major publishing houses, and it was almost impossible. I used to work in New York as a paper delivery guy when I was in my late teens, early 20s. So I went to all the publishing companies and I slid my manuscripts through their door. Because
So
I was
hold that thought there, James. Look at that. I want to stick a pin there and I want to make a point, a solid point. Somebody may miss this. You were a paper boy. Look at how that helped you to know where to go when time came. Now, when people are into jobs or when people are getting little opportunity, they may turn up their nose, twist their face about it, but it has something to teach you. And I'm saying this to myself as well. It has something to teach you that you don't know how it can help you further down the road. Becoming a paper boy or being a paper boy allowed you to know exactly where to go. That now, as an author, because as a paper boy, I am sure you never thought about writing the books that you have written now.
Oh no, I was thinking about writing at that time. I was writing short.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was writing short stories, and I was trying to find a way into the industry at that time.
Wow.
So part of what I was doing, I would then find what publishing companies there were. I would find what magazine companies there were, and I would carry my work with me along with the papers. And and I would slide my work underneath the door. 5 o'clock in the morning when I'm delivering papers, I'm sliding my work underneath the door. That kind of thing. Anything to work.
That's smart. That's smart. And that is a lesson for a lot of other people now, no matter what you're doing, whether you're writing or otherwise, wherever you are, you have an opportunity to slide whatever under the door. You know,
Yeah.
you take advantage of the opportunity to get the word out, to get you out. But the key is coming back to the book expos and the different fairs is really to be visible, to make
Yes.
yourself be visible out there. And not only that, not only to stand up in a room and expect people to see you, like how your book is on the Amazon shelves and you expect people to see you. You have to interact. You have to speak. You have to come out of your comfort zone. You have to meet people. You have to be personal. Hmm?
Yes, you have to engage.
Yes.
The word I say is, you want to be a writer, you want to be an author, that you can do at home by yourself.
Yeah.
You want to sell books, you have to engage. You
Yeah.
have to engage, and you have to engage your audience, not only through the book itself,
Yeah.
but also through, because people, and I learned this selling insurance, another
Wow.
job I had.
You got the skills. You got the skills, James. You got
I
the
was selling insurance, and the thing I learned from the people who were teaching me how to sell insurance is no one wants to buy insurance.
no.
Everybody knows they need it. Nobody wants to buy it. They'll
Mhm.
only buy it from you because they like you
Yeah.
as a person.
Yeah.
When you go to them, you talk to them about the insurance policy, whatever, they're only going to buy it if they like you.
You. Yeah.
And that's what you're always selling. You are always selling yourself. As
Yourself.
an author, as an insurance man, as many other things I have done.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are selling yourself,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah. It really comes down to you. It really comes down to you. No matter what you're doing, it really comes down to you. So you've made the transition, James, from an author to publisher. What are like three things that you can share with the listening audience and those who will be listening? And you know, there may be people who want to do the same thing like us, move from becoming an author to the publishing industry, and they're probably scared. They probably don't know. They don't know where they will get their first client. You know, they may not know. I mean, and we don't know everything. We are learning as we go along. And you know, the publishing industry is constantly evolving as with everything else. What are three things that you will want to share with persons who are authors now, self-publish, feel that they have a good grasp, yeah, they have a good network, and they feel that they can help others to do the same?
All right. The number one thing I would say is learn from others' mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're going to make mistakes, but other people have been down that road before you. And if you can talk to them and if you can learn from them, do it.
Yeah.
Because there's always somebody ahead of you, always somebody who's been up the mountain before you.
Yeah.
And you should be giving information to the people coming behind you.
Oh yeah.
So the same way as I'm on the radio here talking to you now,
Mm-hmm.
sharing this information with you,
Mm-hmm.
other people should be listening and saying, oh, okay, so that's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one thing. Learn from other mistakes. I learn from other mistakes as writers. I see what other writers put in their thing, and I say, wait a second, I do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Let me not do that, because I'm correcting it on their manuscript, but then I'm also conscious of it when I'm doing my own writing, that I don't make the same mistakes that I point out in other people's writing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The second thing is the stigma of being self-published and being an independent publisher. Do not be ashamed of the fact that you are an independent publisher.
Yeah.
There are many, many independent publishers in this business.
Yeah.
And so you should wear that proudly. It's not like, oh, I can't get published by somebody else or another company. No, I decided to do this on my own. I decided to go out and start a publishing company.
Mm-hmm.
I could have kept trying to get other people to publish me. I could have, just published myself and not published other people.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided, I made a conscious effort that I'm going to start a business of publishing not only myself, but others.
Mm-hmm.
And giving other people, because I find books that I find people who have ideas, authors who come to me and they have great ideas. I'm like, hey, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I will publish that. And so I do. And so don't let the stigma stick to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There is no shame in being self-published. There's no shame in being an independent publisher.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because there is a stigma and people, are shying away. It was once the big thing to do, but I think people have been putting out the word that, if you're not backed by somebody with a name, a brand, you're like nobody,
Yes. And the other thing I would say is, and this goes to authors as well as publishers, realize that maybe your work is not ready for the public.
Oh wow, that's painful.
Yeah, that is. You got to have a thick skin and you got to have clear eyes.
Yeah.
When you look at your, like I said, I got an editor to do my work for me because first off, I'm a lousy editor. Second off, you really can't edit your own work. You really don't see your own mistakes.
Yeah.
And so you need another pair of eyes. You need a real good pair of eyes. And so many writers come to me and they, submit their work and everything. And then they're shocked when I tell them, okay, like the story, like the idea, like this is what you have to do to fix it. These are the mistakes I find. And they're like, mistakes? Wrong? What do you mean it's too long? I mean, you got a lot of stuff in there that don't belong in the story. It does nothing for the story. You need to cut 50,000 words. 50,000 words! I got a 200,000 word book. I can't publish that. No one's going to buy it.
Yeah.
You're not Tolstoy yet. When you become Tolstoy, you can write the 200,000 word novel and people will pick it up and read it. But until then, cut that sucker down. Get to the heart of the story and tell it.
Yeah. People really don't have the time, their attention span and all that. They want to just get to the meat of the matter as quickly as possible. Yeah.
And then so many people will tell you who say, "Oh, War and Peace is a great book. Did you read it?" Yeah, you did. And neither did I, because it might be a great book, but it's long as hell.
Yeah.
I'll read it when I'm retired.
Yeah. And if they want to dedicate the time,
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So you're enjoying this, I gather. You're enjoying the journey, you're having fun helping others. And it brings a sort of satisfaction to you to know that you're helping others in something that they also want to do. Yeah?
Yes, it does. It brings me a lot of satisfaction, almost as much as writing.
Yeah.
Because, when you write, the satisfaction is getting the story out. The satisfaction of putting something out and you can see something that you've done. Well, as a publisher, I get the same satisfaction when I hold up somebody's book and it's like, hey, this is something I put out. This is something great,
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at what I did here, know. And okay, I didn't write it. It's not my book, but it is my book because I published it. I put the work in. I got the person, information down to a nice size story, to a nice concise story.
Yeah.
You read it, it reads well.
Yeah.
And there's a satisfaction in that. I helped that author.
Oh, yeah. And I could feel that satisfaction and I could relate to it because it's like a mother, parent, and a child. It's like a teacher and a student. You were part of this becoming a reality. You helped to make this possible. You were able to send your child off out there and say, yes, I've prepared you, I've helped you, I've groomed you. It really does have a satisfaction in there, yeah?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Wow.
And I'm a father of 6, so there is that idea of you have your children, and you can see when your children do well, you take a pride in that because you say, I got them to that point. You take a certain pride in that. So, and as a publisher, you take a pride in your authors also when you say, okay, I got them to where they have a book out. Yeah. They're happy with it. They're proud of it. Yeah. I'm proud of them.
Yeah. Wow. There's no amount of money that can cover that pride. There's no amount of money. Yeah.
No, but I would like to get to that amount of money.
Oh yeah, James.
When I actually hit that amount, that say, "Ooh, this equals pride."
This equals pride. I like that. Oh my goodness. I like when we were saying earlier, I think it was before we started recording the show, that, the changing us, when we started speaking back in 2014, 5 years ago, you want to look back at your life. You want to look at your life, not only look back, but you want to look forward. You want to look at now and say, how have I grown? Where have I made a contribution? What's the legacy that I've left behind? You know, am I still in the same place I was 4, 5, 10 years ago? You know, am I growing? Am I learning? Am I evolving? And, you know, and you were saying, you know, if you don't evolve, you're stagnant, you become extinct. And, I checked myself yesterday. I was at a meeting and I was like, wait a minute, we're in June. We're in June. I'm like, in heaven's name, how we got to June? We just started January. How in heaven's name we got to June? This is the middle of the year, James. Yes. My God.
And I see the same thing. I say the same thing. My God, we're in the summer season now, and I should have another set of books out. I don't, but it's a process, and and sometimes you have to work with people. I mean, everybody has a schedule to work with, so it's hard. But you got to keep moving. You got to keep, like I said to you before, if you stand still, you get run over.
Oh my God! But you run over yourself.
Yeah, and sometimes you run over yourself, and sometimes you have to take a step back. So you look at where you're at, and you say, okay, I done all of this. I got a company going. I got authors out there. What is my next step? Where should I be going?
Yeah, yeah.
And you have to sometimes take a step back, and you say, okay, I'm a publisher now. Yeah. I am truly a publisher. I have several different authors. I have multiple genres out there.
Yeah.
But what am I doing for my community? What am I doing for myself? What am I doing for my business partners? Because your authors are your business partners.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like I passed on to you Barbara Harrison.
Yeah, yeah.
And I told you before we started recording that I thought she would be a good fit for you. She would make a good guest for your radio show and for your audience.
Yeah, yeah. And she was fabulous.
Yes.
Fabulous. I think we spent about 41 minutes or something chatting. It's amazing how that time went by.
Oh, yeah. And she did,
sharing and learning.
I thought, and when I wanted to reconnect with you, one of the things I wanted to do was bring some of my authors to you, because I said when I did your show 5 years ago, I thought I had a great experience with you.
Oh, wonderful.
Fantastic host.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And that helps me to move forward. You know, it keeps me pushing. It keeps me wanting to do more for my guests on my show. And I'll tell you this, James, people like you and a lot of my other guests have become friends with me. They could easily just reach out, and say, hey, Corinne, what's happening? I want to do so and so, and we can collaborate. We can do work together. It's just amazing. It's just amazing what just coming on my radio show can do for a lifelong friendship. It's just amazing. Yeah.
I believe that. I believe you are a true friend of mine.
Yes.
And, I reach out to you, and I would like to reach out to you more.
Of course.
And collaborate on certain things and things that will help each of us grow.
That's right. Well, now that I know that you're in the industry and growing and helping other authors, I will definitely share some tips with you off air. I will send you some links to things that I think will help them progress and to make their whole visibility a bit more established out there. Yeah?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, because I know people are on a budget.
All the help.
Yeah, I know people are on a budget, and not because you may not have the kind of resources, it doesn't mean you can't look good out there and put a nice professional look. So I'm going to be sharing some stuff with you and what I've learned along the way. And feel free to email me or even call me or whatever it may be, to ask. And I would certainly be willing to help. So I am really happy for you. I want to switch over to your website here.
Okay.
See what you're up to. We're going to be minding your business a little bit. Remind me of the website again.
Okay, it's rockhillpublishing.com. So it's all one word.
Yeah.
.com.
All right, let me see here now. I could spell on a Sunday. Hold on.
I try to keep it very simple because I spell very badly.
You understand? Right. So we're working with what is. So let's see here now. So this is you.
That's me, yes. There goes the dragon.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, that dragon was made by my nephew.
Mm-hmm.
When I needed a logo, when I started the company, I had to go track down my nephew. He was living in an artist community in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And he had been drawing all his life. So we have lifelong goals enough that we do. And
Nice.
when I needed a logo, I said, "Where's Brad?" I called my mom and said, "Where's Brad at these days?" And they were like, "Oh, he's in Ohio somewhere, blah, blah, blah." Tell him I need to talk to him. Tell him I need artwork done.
Well, lucky
And,
you have a relative you can call on. He did
yes.
a fantabulous job.
Yeah. And I just told him I wanted a dragon on a rock. This is my company name. This is this. Do something.
Do something.
Oh, what do you want? And I said, "No, you're the artist. You do it and come back to me."
Yeah, a dragon on a rock. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So this is featuring the books that you have published. I love them. Night
Yeah.
Kisses, Athena Paris. This is your editor.
That's my editor.
Yes. Love
Love
and
and Madness,
Madness.
that's hers.
It really should be Mad Love. I'm telling you, it's really Love and Madness. This one is stunning. I love it. She's stunning. The Emerald Lady.
This
This
is
looks
a
like
new
a
one by
pirate.
me. Yeah, that's the pirates, the dragons and the mermaids. Yes.
Nice.
This is Myron Edwards' book, and that's another one of his books, Skila. So those are two. He got a third book coming out.
Nice.
This one we talked about before, Pegasus the Science Fi.
Yes, and I know this one.
Ah,
Yes.
you know this one, huh?
Yes. Yes.
And
I know
that's the
this one
second
too. Yes. I think at the time you were working on these.
Yes, I was working on that.
And
That's
this is
Barbara's.
Barbara's book. Yes. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I think we're back to the beginning.
Yeah. So you have a lovely set of clients there. That's a great little slideshow.
Uh-huh.
So
And I got a couple more coming out.
I was just about to ask, who else? What else is coming up for James Hill? Because boy, I have to keep up with you.
I got another fantasy coming out, Nanigan.
Mm-hmm.
I had pronounced that all wrong. Met her down in Florida and everything. And that's why I said, this is summer and I should be having a book. I should be having 2 books out, but it's a long process.
Yeah.
Sometimes. That's the other thing I have to tell the author. We just can't roll these things out in like 3 weeks, because it takes a while. It got to be edited. It got to be reviewed. Got to be back and forth.
And you can't rush the process. You can't rush the process, and everything happens at the right time.
Right.
And that is one of the points I want to make as we close off. We're talking about, where the half of the year is another 6 months again to go, and you might feel rushed, and you're like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I completed? It's not to make you feel like, we're putting pressure on you, because we also feel the pressure for ourselves based on the goals that we set for ourselves. But you need to just take a step back and breathe through it, and don't beat yourself up. What you have done, you have done. It was meant for you to do that at that point in time. What's coming, just take your time and do it. And if you don't accomplish everything, that's okay. That's okay. Life happens, things happen. Things set you back, things push you forward. Just roll with it. Yeah.
In the 5 years, I made quite a few mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and I made them on myself and on Athena's stuff that we did. Because before we reached out to publish other people, we wanted to make sure that if there was any mistakes to be made, we would make them on our own things first. Yeah. And we would learn from that. And then when we reach out to other people, we'll at least that much farther ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have some authors who are in a hurry. Oh, let's put this out. I want it out by this date. And I'm like, no, you don't pick a date and say, let's put it out by this date.
Yeah.
Let's get it right. Let's do it correctly. Once we get it correct, then we'll pick a date to put it out.
Yeah. Don't put that kind of pressure. Take your time. And I'm on the page here because I wanted to ask you before we round up, how can persons come to you to submit their work and to say they want to publish with you?
Okay, so this is the submission page, and it tells you exactly what you need to do, a synopsis, a character outline of the major and minor characters, and 4 chapters. The first 2, 1 in the middle, and the final chapter.
Yeah.
And the reason why we want the first 2, because we want to see if you have a strong beginning. We want to see what the middle to tell whether or not the story flow and your style is still strong. And then we have to know how the story ends.
Yeah. So it gives you a quick bird's eye view as to what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And as for the outline of the characters, I say major, minor characters. Yeah, I don't want a list of every single person that appears in the book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not the major, minor. We need the major protagonist. We need the major antagonist. We need the supporting characters.
Yeah.
The major ones. I don't want to know about the bus driver who has one line. No name, just one line. So that's how you would do it. And then you submit the files to us, and we go over them. And the other thing I would say is follow the submission guidelines, either for my company or anybody company.
Yeah.
If they tell you to send the entire manuscript, then you send the entire manuscript.
Yeah.
They say send a sample chapter, a synopsis, whatever they tell you to do that. Because doing anything else is going to hurt you.
Oh yeah. I can tell you that I remember years ago, I think it was, when did I go to that writers conference in LA? Probably around 2013, 2014, something around there, I think. And I can tell you, I met publishing companies from, the top of the line publishing companies. It was in Hollywood. Yeah, we were meeting, it was a screenwriters and a writers conference. So we were meeting the people. There were some movie stars in there, you know, people from all over. The mecca of Hollywood.
Yeah, I've been to something like that in Hollywood too.
Yeah. And they're not joking. They're not joking. They don't have the time. They don't have the time. So please follow the instructions strictly as you see it. Don't try anything else. Don't assume anything else. You just follow the instructions. And what I love about your submission, I just want to scroll back down here, is that you have the files separated. So don't try to send a synopsis file under the character file. Don't try to confuse anything. You have everything here separated so that when you receive it on the back end, James, you know exactly which file, is for what.
Yes.
Everything is clear cut. I love that.
That comes from my computer background.
Ah, nice.
Do
you see how everything you have done has culminated into who you are today?
That's how life works.
Yeah.
You don't get here just one day. Only your birthday. Only on the day you're born do you come in blank.
Yeah.
Everything else builds from there. And everything you do build from there. Like people always ask me, if you can go back in time and change something, would you? I say no, I wouldn't change anything I did. But first off, if I did it then, I probably thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
It wasn't, but at that point in time, I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah. And no regrets. No regrets.
Yes.
No regrets.
As you grow, that became part of you, so you know not to do it again.
Yeah. No regrets. No regrets. Yeah. James, I am so happy to have you back on my show, and I thank you so much for referring others to be on my show. And I know you have a lot more orders that you would send my way. And definitely, I'm going to be sending you some tips, things that I can share. And if you have any questions at all, when we finish recording and you keep in touch with me, now that I know that you're in the industry, feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Thank you. And I will take you up on that. I was supposed to see you in Jamaica.
Oh, yeah.
I was in Jamaica for New Year's.
Oh, no.
Then I find out now that you're in Tobago.
Yes. Yeah. You need to keep up, Jane. You need to keep up. I move around. I left Jamaica. I was in Jamaica up until 2017. I came back to Trinidad in July 2017. And you just never know where I would be again when next you talk to me. You just never know.
I'm gonna try to keep up with you because
try.
I love the Caribbean. The Emerald Lady is a story that takes place in the Caribbean and around during that time. So I'm going to be in the Caribbean again, and I'm going to catch up with you.
You better, because I need to practice for my red carpet moment.
Yes. So I'm going to have you on the arm. We're going to walk down the red carpet.
That's right. We need to practice. Yes. We could practice on the beaches in the Caribbean, and then we could translate it to the red carpet. How is that?
That's great. And I think that there's got some books, things out there in the Caribbean that we should be part of.
I think you should. I actually was a speaker last year for the Bocas Lit Fest. I think it's a major literary festival in Trinidad. And I think you should come and see what happens here. And Jamaica also has a lot of literary festivals. In
Ah,
Jamaica, St. Lucia.
yeah, I know people from St. Lucia. Yes.
Yes, St. Lucia has, Antigua has, and it all happens around a particular time. I remember compiling a list of that some time ago, and I kind of, lost track of it. But you should just do a search, a Google search for like literary festivals in the Caribbean, and you will see them pop up. They are
Okay.
absolutely awesome to attend.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I
awesome.
want to do that. Yes.
Yeah, because you may have authors that want to really have a background in the Caribbean, pirates and stuff like that, pictures, research. It's great to come and see what the scenery is like, the history. It may form part of your story. Your character
Oh,
may be
yes.
from the Caribbean. You just never know. So you really have to have a feel for the culture, the people, to really put that into your book. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's what I did for Killer with Three Heads. I went to Egypt so I can get a real feel for what it was like in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And I had already been to the Caribbean,
Yeah.
so part of the Killer story take place in the Caribbean and around that area.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
Yeah.
you really get that experience. You really get that. As writers, we need that personal
Yes,
experience.
yes, you need to live it. You need to,
Yes.
you need to live it. I
Yes.
remember an author, just as a side note, as we're talking, she's what do you call that now? Erotic writer, and she's actually a best-selling author. I think it's a New York Times, I think by now. I'm not so sure, I think. But she is a best-selling author. And she would go into the sex shops and practice things, with her spouse and, to get the feel. And, she goes to these strip clubs and all the different things where, erotic and fantasy and sex and things like that is happening. It's all part of research. Now, somebody listening to this may think, ooh, what? No, it's part of the research. You can't write about something if you don't experience it and feel it. You remember your characters are working through you, so you
Yep.
have to have that. Yeah.
I got a little joke for you.
Yeah.
Guy is brought home by the police to his wife, and the police says, "Miss, I found this guy in a brothel. He was with prostitutes." And the wife looks at him and says, "Explain yourself." He said, "Dear, I'm doing research for the next book."
Yeah, good one, good one. You're actually helping the men here now.
Well, I don't know how that story ended, so it may not have ended well for him anyway.
Well, I am going to follow the advice that you just gave, and I'm going to tell my girls and the other women that we are doing research as well.
That's right. So she could also be doing it. When
That's
the
right.
guy come home and say, "Who is this guy? He's my research partner."
That's right. That's right. We're doing research. Okay?
Yes.
We're doing research. Oh my goodness, James. This has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on Between the Lines.
It's always a pleasure talking to you, Corinne.